Bring the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of August 10th and August 31 meetings.
We could get those in separate approvals. That'd be great.
I move that we approve the August 10th minutes.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. About the August 31st meeting.
I move that we approve the August 31st meeting minutes.
A second?
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, right hand. Okay. Approved. Next item on the agenda.
First item on the agenda under old business is TMS number 137-1404022-105 Hansberry Lane, Zone GR2 General Residential, owned by Heath and Kendall Runyon. Variance request to reduce the required setback from side setback from 15 feet to 10.4 feet for the construction of a new single-family home. Ordinance section 2.7.3C. Just get there quick.
Tim, can I ask just an overall question here?
Yes, sir.
Any of these five situation be changed under the ordinance, revised ordinance that's under consideration?
No, the town council passed the proposed changes to the UDO. None of them impacted these. Yeah, they've already passed those. These particular issues, they were not directly related with any of the issues that are coming before this meeting. Yes. To go back to the first item, for background, the need for setback variance was determined prior to the application for the building permit. And this was at our last meeting. As those of you who are here are aware, it did end up, because we are down a member, it was a 2-2 tie, which means, and per the rules of the BZA, you do need 3 affirmative votes from board members to be able to pass a variance. So because it did not have those 3 votes necessary, it did, the motion to approve did fail. We did check with the town attorney concerning the actions that were taken after that, because one of the people who voted no did ask for reconsideration. Due to that, we were able to utilize that request for reconsideration and the second vote to carry over the request to this meeting was able to be upheld. Otherwise, it would have failed. So the situation is this: since that meeting, the applicant has modified their plans again to reflect some other requirements that we actually had missed previously. The engineering department weighed in and noticed something that we had missed prior to that, which was a 5-foot separation of the driveway from the property line. So what resulted was this plan with the house moving over and maintaining the 5-foot separation from the property line with the driveway, resulting in the shorter setback on the side from 15 feet down to 10.4 feet. As I sent out in the revised packet, the property owner has requested that this be noted. This property is a legal non-conforming buildable lot. It does not meet the minimum lot size requirement for GR2 lots. The minimum lot size for GR2 is 20,000 square feet. 105 Hansberry Lane is 16,988 square feet. Typically, we wouldn't be able to approve the creation of a lot at this size with that zoning. So just, take that as you will concerning the following. Staff feels that the applicant does not meet all 4 criteria and that a hardship is not present. Extraordinary conditions do not exist on the property. The hardship is based on the proposed home plan. The house is wide and has a side load garage, which requires that the entire frontage should be filled with the home and the extra space on the side for the driveway. An alternate home plan with a narrow front and a detached garage could potentially fit on the property without the need for a variance. Other property in the area do have similar lot shapes. Utilization of the property is not eliminated due to these setbacks, and D, detriment would not be caused to other properties by the issuance of this variance on this property. At this time, I know that the applicant is here and I can turn this over to him to address the board, and you can ask him any questions you might have. And I just ask that the applicants please make sure you speak into the microphone. This is being recorded so that we can all hear you.
Okay, deal. First of all, yeah, appreciate. I need, obviously last month it ended in 2-2 ties. So I appreciate y'all allowing me the opportunity to come back and present my case. As Tim just mentioned, so my lot is non-conforming. So basically, I'm zone GR2, but my lot size, I don't meet the minimum requirements for a GR2 lot. And so typically a lot of my size would be zone GR5. And there's a big difference there because GR2, the setbacks for a GR2 lot is 15 feet on each side. So I don't meet the minimum as far as the lot size. And therefore I'm having to hit these setbacks of 15 feet on each side. If I was zone GR5, which typically would be, Tim, would you say that's fair? My lot size typically would be GR5, like
previously, those were the only 2 options.
yes, sir.
And as of right now, we technically have a middle ground, which this would meet, which would be GR3. That has not been applied to any properties within the town of Somerville. We developed it when we were adopting the UDO to cover properties that fell between the 20,000 square foot minimum lot size of GR2 and the 8,500 square foot lot size, minimum lot size for GR5. It's actually a 14,600 something square foot minimum lot size in GR3. As I said before, that has not been applied to any properties within the town of Somerville at this time.
So GR5, it's a 10-foot setback. So you go from GR2, I don't hit the minimum requirements for that lot size, but I'm zone GR2. But if I was GR5, I would have 10-foot setbacks on each side. And if I was GR5, I would already be hitting those setbacks, I guess, right now. As you can see, the question mark is that right-hand side where it's 10.4 in the back corner, as well as the front. I believe it's 12.8. And I also have a letter of support from the neighbor that's Miss Mary Bouchane. So where I want the variance, I think, yeah, September just posted it. And a letter of support saying that she supports, my variance request, and she would be the person that obviously I'm shifting my house closer towards.
So your argument is fundamentally that this is zoned, the way it's zoned is causing you a problem, and if we're zoned more as lot sizes as lots that size might typically have been zoned, the setbacks, you would be okay.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
I drove by it, I think on the side where you're looking for the variance, there's a big yard. So there's a lot of separation between your property line and their home. Is that,
Yes, there's about probably, I would say like 50, 60 feet. I mean, between where I would want my house and then where her like front porch would, would start. I mean, yes, sir, that's correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. So if I'm talking not as a board member, but as a citizen of Summerfield.
Yes, sir.
So your neighbors in the town of Summerfield prefer an overgrown vacant lot rather than having your home built there because of the technicality of the zoning.
What again? I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is you're going to build your primary residence going to be on that lot.
Yes, sir. That's
And your home is going to be there. And what we have there now is an overgrown vacant lot.
yes, sir. That is correct.
So we'd prefer to have an overgrown vacant lot rather than having something to enhance the neighborhood and enhance the tax base. Doesn't make sense to me.
Any other questions? One question, how does your house line up with the houses on either side?
As far as, well, it's a little tricky. So the one next to me on Hansberry, so on the left-hand side, it actually faces Congress Street. And then Miss Mary Bouchane, she actually faces, her front porch actually faces what would be the side of my house.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Again, if I remember driving through as I'm looking at what would be the front of your house, on the left-hand side, it's pretty crowded over there.
Yes, sir.
But there's like a fence maybe?
So there's a fence and there's as well as, there's some storage areas that, the neighbors, and there's nothing wrong with that, they
Yeah.
put there, but that's part of another reason I'd like to, I really do think it would balance out. I truly do believe it would balance out the street. I put some, some thought obviously into the house plan and as far as the placement, like, so.
Thank you.
I move that we approve the request.
A second.
I've made plain when I've been here that I am not happy with approving things that don't meet the variance requirements, but I'd certainly say that the fact that this is zoned ZR, got the zoning kind of off is creating a substantial hardship here. So I will vote to approve because of that.
All in favor, just raise your right hand.
The next item on the agenda is item number 1 under new business, TMS number 1371304073246 Marion Avenue, Zone GR2, General Residential, owned by Pankaj and Prataba Patel. Variance request to reduce the required rear setback from 25 feet to 18.5 feet for a sunroom addition and allow a rear deck to project into the rear setback an additional 5 feet. Ordinance sections 2.7.3D and 2.3.6B. Staff has evaluated the request and the need for a setback variance was determined prior to the application for building permit. The property is located in the historic district and will require approval by the BAR. I believe that's scheduled to be heard by the board at their next meeting. Staff feels that the applicant does not meet all 4 criteria and that hardship is present. Extraordinary conditions do exist on the property. The shape of the lot and the placement of the home on the lot pushes it closer to the rear setback. Additionally, there is known flooding issue that is being avoided, pushing the shape of the sunroom and creating the current layout. Other property in the area do have similar lot shapes. Utilization of the property is not eliminated due to the setbacks. Indeed, detriment will not be caused to other properties by the issuance of this variance on this property. So essentially meets, according to my accounting, two out of the 4 criteria. As you can see here from this lot, plot plan. It's a very odd shaped lot. And let me zoom out so you can see it. So the way that this is measured, even though it says 20 feet and the applicant's review of that was that it's 20 feet, because of the angle of this property line, it's measured perpendicular to it. So when you actually set the measurements at a 90-degree angle from that, it goes down to 18.5 feet. Wood decks are permitted to project into the rear setback up to 5 feet. Because of the nature and the orientation of this, it will project an additional 5 feet, 8 feet on top of that for a total of 13 feet projection into that rear setback. And so that is why these numbers don't reflect what's in the staff report. It was just a drawing error based on. Sure, I'm sorry. It's just a drawing error just based on a drawing it horizontally based on the building as opposed to being perpendicular to the property line. So that's why those numbers are slightly different.
Run through those numbers again, if you would, Tim. The required setback is what? And
Required setback is 25 feet.
okay,
This is GR2. They originally requested 20 feet as their setback because of the angle of the property line. When you measure it perpendicular to that property line, it's actually within 18.5 feet of the actual property line. So that's where that difference comes in. They did not identify the projection of that rear deck into the rear setback. Now that is typically a permitted projection into a setback, but because of the way that this is oriented and wrapping around the end of the proposed sunroom, that projection is greater than what's permitted. So that's where we get the differences and what was laid out in the staff report versus what is seen in the request from the applicant.
All right, could you please show where all the houses are, that one drawing?
This one here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And this is the house, 246 Marion?
yeah.
Pardon?
Yes.
Any other questions? You still have your mic on.
So I just want to be clear, Tim, we're talking the corner. We're talking the corner of this deck extending into 3.5 feet or something like that farther into the setback than is allowed, right?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the request.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
The second item under new business is TMS number 137-0902-104, which is 104 Classic Street, Zone GR5, General Residential, owned by Matthew and Amanda Martin. Variance request to increase the permitted maximum lot coverage from 35% to 37.5%, ordinance section 2.7.2C. The need for variance was determined prior to the application for the building permit. The applicant started work prior to applying for a permit. Staff failed to identify all the variances needed, and the BZA previously approved the setback reduction in July. So they were here back in July for a reduction in the setback that was approved by the board. Staff feels that the applicant does not meet all 4 criteria and that a hardship is not present. Extraordinary conditions do not necessarily exist on the property. This is a rectangular lot, which is already at 35% lot coverage. Other property in the area do have similar size lots. Utilization of the property is reduced but not eliminated due to the lot coverage limit. And detriments could be caused to other properties by the issuance of this variance on this property. By permitting lot coverage variances, the town will be contributing to the worsening of a lot coverage issue. Lot coverage contributes to the increase of runoff and from properties and the speed at which that water runs off. This exacerbates the flooding issues that are existing throughout the area. Though there may not be flooding issues on this particular property, by continuing to approve lot coverage increases, it affects the overall area. That's the lot in question. This is the proposed layout. As I said, the board had previously approved the prior setback on the side for the accessory structure. Their statement, this is what they're proposing to build, which is a storage shed and outdoor pavilion. And that's looking back onto the property on the side it'll be located on. At this time, I believe the applicant is here. If you want to address the board, or if the board has questions, it's open.
How you doing? We went over this in July. I didn't do the paperwork right when we went to apply. It says I got it as 37.5, but it's actually a little less than 37%, because on the drawing they have it, the back porch 10 by 16 and it's 10 by 8. I mean, it's 16 by 8, so that's 2 feet. And it should have been 37% instead of 37 and a half. I have the slab poured.
Yeah, just what, so the slab is poured already
Yes, sir.
based on a request made earlier we just didn't recognize the setback was an issue at that point.
Yeah, it had been poured at that point. It was brought to his attention after the work had been done that he needed a permit for the work being done. Once he did apply for the permit, that's when we started noticing the setback issue as well as then later the lot coverage issue, which unfortunately, because it was not part of his original request in July, and I didn't catch that aspect of it, we typically try to capture all the requests that would be needed, like we did with just the last item that was on the agenda. They didn't identify it. I caught that other issue. In this particular instance, I failed to catch the lot coverage issue on this lot. So unfortunately had to come back, because if it's not published, we can't approve the request.
I keep not turning this off. And again, I wasn't here in July. This one was, the first variance was
Yes,
approved.
the side setback reduction was approved.
What's the difference between what was approved and what it actually turned out to be?
Go ahead, I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Go ahead.
It's 35%, and I'm gonna be at roughly right at 37%, 2%.
2%. Thank you. Any other questions?
Just refresh my memory. At the time we approved the setback, was the concrete already poured?
Yes.
You already had the
that's-
slab down?
Guess it don't matter. We talked about it, the 2%. I brought that up when we had the last meeting, but I didn't file it right. I didn't ask for both variances.
Make a motion that we approve the request.
I second.
It's probably reasonable to approve, but I'm gonna vote against it just because I feel strongly about this coverage issue.
Can you take the minutes?
Sorry. I was coughing earlier and I'm going to vote against it. It's probably a reasonable request, but I feel strongly about this coverage issue and we just need to stop covering lots. And so there's my thought.
Okay, thank you. Thank
The third item under new business, TMS number 14507060004, 106 Arbor Road, Zone GR5, General Residential, owned by Robert and Diane Webster. Variance requests to reduce the rear setback for an accessory structure from 5 feet to 2 feet and reduce the side setback for an accessory structure from 10 feet to 5 feet for the construction of a new detached garage. Ordinance section 2.7.4C and 2.7.4B. Background on this is the need for the setback variance was determined at the time of application for the building permit. Staff feels that the application does not meet all 4 criteria and that a hardship is not present. Extraordinary conditions do not necessarily exist on the property. This is a rectangular lot with room for a smaller garage at the required setback, even allowing for saving the existing tree. Other property in the area do have similar lot shapes. Utilization of the property is reduced but not eliminated due to the existing setbacks. And D, detriment will not be caused to other properties by the issuance of this variance on this property. So as you can see by this plan, they're proposing to build a garage here, rear setback for an accessory structure down to 2 feet, and the side from 10 feet down to 5 feet. Kind of maybe see it better here. And this is just standard metal. We approve these throughout the town, just about everywhere. So I believe the applicant is here. If you have any questions for him, I can turn it over to the applicant. Yes, I'm 99% confident.
Yes,
I apologize. Yeah,
that is the one.
I looked at it before and that was the one I was pretty sure it was.
Yes. Hello, I'm Robert Webster. I live at 106 Arbor Road. My main concern with the variance, or to apply for the variance, was the tree. If I move the building over, I'm about 2.5 feet away from that tree. And I don't want to put in to get rid of the tree because I like the tree. It provides good shade for the backyard, and I don't see it being an issue. And one thing is the back setback would be 3 feet, not 2 feet. So the side would be 5, and then the rear would be 3 feet. So it is 24 by 30. Square footage? I'm sorry. Yes, I believe so. Yeah. I don't know. No, the other two on the other side of the property are the 2 gum trees that I wouldn't mind taking down. That's the tree right there. I'm not sure what kind it is though.
Like an elm, maybe. Maybe
Maybe.
or not.
Any other questions?
Do you have a garage on the property now?
There is a
The home?
2-car garage in the front. Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is what I would like to utilize as storage and a workshop.
Where did you get the plan? Is this a prefabricated?
Yeah,
Garage.
Carolina Carports.
Can they make a design a smaller, or do they have a
They
smaller
can
plan?
design any one you want,
Okay,
but the preferred size that I would like to put on there is 24 by 30. It would utilize what I need it for.
Can I hear a motion? Any motion either way?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve so we can have a conversation here.
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion? You have a discussion? Anybody? No, okay.
I don't see that it complies with the conditions that need to exist, and it can be made smaller to fit within the setback. I don't see any reason for approving it. A reason for approving it as it is.
You don't? You said?
Do not.
Okay. Any other-
Well, yeah, perhaps a reason, but you know, we really are bound by the rules unless we can, you know, make a case for extraordinary conditions or yada, yada. And I don't see they exist here.
So as I understand it, you can take the tree down, and I understand you don't want to do that, and everything would be fine.
Well, my understanding is you have to get a permit to get the tree down. So
Well, you do. I
I
understand
didn't,
that.
I didn't put in for that. And I don't know if that's going to get approved. So this is the first option.
And the other option is obviously to make it a little bit smaller, so you don't need the setbacks.
That would be an option, but I wouldn't want to do that option.
Understand?
Can I see the slide with the property with everything laid out on it, please?
That one there?
Yes. Can I see it? That's better. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye, or raise your right hand. Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Next item.
Just 1 second. I just need to make sure I had that correct. Just the vote. That was who voted against. Thank you. All right. Item number 4 under new business. TMS number 15410220027 97 Creek Bend Drive. Zoned PUD Planned Development District owned by Guillermo and Luisa Coué. Variance request to increase the permitted maximum lot coverage from 35% to 45% for the construction of a gazebo. Ordinance section 2.10. Yep, I was. Hard. Oh, wait, come on, work with me. All right. This is another one where we got some more information after the fact. So that's why you got a revised staff report after the fact. After the initial, it clarifies some of the calculations and lot coverage issues on this particular property. So for the background, the need for a lot coverage variance was determined at the time of application for building permit. The applicant included the area of the right of way In his original calculations showing a larger lot than is indicated in the staff report, the applicant is removing the shed in the rear yard as well. So the actual request, as calculated by staff, ends up being 38% lot coverage, not 45%. And the reason for that reduction is the rear deck, the wood deck that's on the side of the house. Based on its construction, it's raised above the ground. There's no impediment below to allow water to go through. That does not count towards lot coverage. The engineering department took a look at the pictures that were provided for that patio paver, the paver patio that was out there, based on its construction style, with the gaps in between the pavers, being set in sand, it's not set in mortar. We have allowed in the past to allow that to be considered as a permeable area. It isn't necessarily pervious completely, but it is permeable. It does allow water to flow in. It doesn't run off in the same way that asphalt or concrete does, or a roof, etc. So the extraordinary conditions do not exist on this property. This is a 7,405 square foot lot. 35% lot coverage allows for up to 2,591 square feet of coverage. Based on the construction style, as I said before, of the brick patio and the rear deck, they can be considered permeable, and the resulting lot coverage is 2,821 square feet. This is 38% lot coverage, not the 45% requested. Most of the paving was done without a permit. It wasn't required previously to get permits for these types of additions. Based on staff's calculations, current lot coverage is as follows. The house is 1,463 square feet. The existing sunroom is 120 square feet. The front drive is 588 square feet. The rear drive is 491 square feet. And the gazebo is 159 square feet, which is a total of 2,821 square feet of lot coverage, which is 38%. Other property in the area do have similar lot shapes and sizes with similarly sized homes on the properties. Utilization of the property is reduced but not eliminated due to lot coverage. Unfortunately, no additional lot coverage would be able to be added without a variance. A significant amount of paving should be removed from the property due to the significant overage of paving proposed. That was prior to doing the math and getting the extra information. And detriment could be caused to other properties by the issuance of this variance on this property. By permitting lot coverage variances, the town will be contributing to the worsening of a lot coverage issue. Lot coverage contributes to the increase of runoff from properties and the speed at which the water runs off. This exacerbates the flooding issues that are existing throughout the area. Though there may not be flooding issues on this property, by continuing to approve lot coverage increases, it affects the overall area. So this is an aerial that I was able to pull. This actually does not show the side, the paving that was done here. That's concrete. This unfortunately doesn't show the current situation either. This is from the applicants. And as you can see, this area highlighted in red is the actual lot size. This is the public right-of-way where that should not have been counted in the applicant's calculation of 8,510 square feet. So as indicated earlier, they have removed the shed, and that can be seen in the pictures provided. This brick, the paver patio, that does not count. And this deck here does not count based on how we calculate that lot coverage. Where are all my pictures? That's the end. All right. wonder if I can get to those. Does anybody want to see the pictures that were provided by the applicant? I hope I can get to them. I am not going to be able to get to them from this computer. This is not connected to my network. Doesn't have access to the drive, which I have it on. I don't know why it wasn't included. I had 18 pictures or so that, do you have the hard copies? If you guys don't mind, the applicant does have hard copies. If you want to flip through them and see, there's a couple of them that do show the way that he pulled up one of the paver tiles to show that it was sand underneath. You can see it in the one picture, the underneath the deck that's off the back of the house. That shows that that is not covered. So it would allow for that permeability that the town does typically look for with that. So applicants is here and they can answer any questions that the board does have.
I'd like to see the drawing that shows the colored back and front. That one. Okay.
This one here?
Yep. And why?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Guillermo Cuey. My wife is here, Luisa. And we really like to apologize first because we built without permit. We were unaware that permits were required to do improvement in the backyard. And once we get this top construction from the city, we approach right away to get permits. And that's why we're here. So we really apologize. And we're very sorry about that. And all the improvement at home, I did it. We didn't contract a contractor. All the improvement, it was done by myself and friends. So, and when moment that I applied for a 10%, which wasn't not calculated right. And I think police only 3%. So really like very grand if possible. So I have the photos if you'd like to see, the ones that I sent him. In this, and I have printed some other photos too.
So just to be clear, this is screen porch is already built. Is that right?
The, excuse me.
I mean, what we're talking about is already
Yes, all
built.
the improvements are already done. And
Are they-
but we stopped the construction right away. We got this stuff from the city. I mean, we were at the final stage, but we haven't done anything since that moment. I mean, it was mid-May, since mid-May. We haven't done anything in the backyard, waiting for the approval.
Could you show the last slide before that? The one where they had the arm? No, yeah,
Well,
Which one?
that one.
Okay.
Is that color, that's part of your property though, right? That's not,
Yeah, that's the part we got when we bought the house. And that's the only thing I have, and my calculations were based on that.
so that colored area is part of your property,
Is the front, the front and the backyard,
right? So in your calculations, that's included.
include the orange.
Okay, thank you.
Include the orange, yeah.
Any other questions? If none, just turn the light off.
I do have a question.
John?
The gazebo is, I'm sorry, do you have a foundation board for that?
The gazebo is on a deck,
So,
same material as the deck that was already approved as permeable.
okay. Tim, will you go back one picture to 38? Okay.
And that photo is not the right one. That's probably 4 years ago. It's shown an hexagonal gazebo that we removed because there was a metal removable gazebo, and we wanted to build a fixed one since we have to change every time the roof on that every 2 years. We would like to have a rectangular, nicer gazebo. And the shed that is shown is already removed. I can show photos of that. It is removed.
It is
The-
already
the shed is
gone.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing out. That's out now. It's not showing the carport in past the fence. Uh, the deck was cut in the line of the house, and it was remodeled to. Is yeah, it's not like that. I have the photos here. If,
Do you want to hand the photos up?
but the material is the same as the gazebo.
The brown wooden structure that you see in the back as you face the house to the right, that's your neighbor's? That wooden structure that's back there? It's not on here. I don't. When you look from the street, it appears that there's a large shed in the.
From the top view,
Mhm.
oh, that was mine, and it was removed.
Okay.
That's-
Well, it was
that's-
still there when I looked at it, I guess.
Yeah, it's been removed.
Okay.
It's been removed, and probably is in one of those photos. It's not showing in one of those photos, but I can point it out where it was.
Okay, that's fine. Any other questions? We have a motion.
Move that we approve the request.
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No other business at this time.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Yes.
Oh, where do we go to get the items? She told me it was ready to pick up, but I just didn't know where to go grab it. Okay.
You guys.
Carol, let us know. You got our contact.